Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Thursday's edition of A Merit Moment. My name is Anthony J. Mampieri, your college planning expert here at Merit Advisors LLC. And today I have the great pleasure to bring on the line Al Hoffman, who is the founder of the College Funding Service Center, our back office team that helps our students and families. And so without further ado, Al, how are you doing today?
Oh, fantastic. I'm very happy to be here, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Al. I guess before we start, I'd like you to maybe share with me a little bit about how you got started and how you kind of founded this business.
Well, I have heard this from many guidance counselors. So my daughters became of age for college, and I didn't have anybody. So I read a couple of books, and I have a dinner group that we frequent, and people would ask me questions, and I remember the answers from the books, and I would answer their questions about them because we were kind of all on the same path with the same age of kids. And I'm an entrepreneur, and I said to myself, well, this is interesting. There's questions here, and I can answer these questions. And so I read more, and then I read more, and then I went to a couple of conventions. And anyway, about 2 years later, I threw out my shingle and said, okay, I'm going to help people do this. And it was a lot of research, a lot of reading, and a lot of visiting colleges. And that's where the backbone and foundation of my practice started.
That's great. So share with us, Al, about your family, your daughters. How many kids do you have?
I had 3 children, 3 daughters. All 3 have graduated from college, and they've been launched. A couple of more successful than the third, but they're all launched.
That's a good thing. You did your job there. So raised them well. Well, what do you think? Do you think there's more confusion surrounding college planning in our country today than there was about 15 years ago or so?
Yeah, it's a moving target. There's no doubt about that. The changes from the Department of Education on the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, the changes on the CSS profile, the changes on the price. Oh my goodness. When I started, private colleges were at 30,000 last year. NYU busted 85,000 in 1 year. So that exponential increase is really a problem. And those price tags and those prices create people more and more interested in finding the truth. And therein lies another issue. We have a lot of people that are getting into the industry, and they haven't kind of paid their dues. Remember, I told you for about 2 years I didn't do anything except gain as much knowledge as I could. But when I started, I felt confident that I was right, and I did my due diligence, got it right. And we have some people starting now that haven't done it right, and so it is a little bit difficult to find people with all the changes in the government, the colleges, and the experience of some of the people starting. Yeah, it creates a problem for challenges for people that are heading towards college.
Yeah, Al, even for me, right? I tried to learn as much as I could, but as you mentioned earlier, there's no better predictor of, I guess, success or knowledge than going through the school of hard knocks and doing it yourself. So where I've learned the most is kind of going through this process with your team now, with my oldest son, Luca, who's a junior in high school. And so I can certainly understand that. If you could narrow it down, what do you think is one of the biggest challenges that parents have to navigate today?
Well, the biggest challenge is probably timing. There is a lot of parents that get started with their kiddos in, say, August of the senior summer, and immediately run into some stress because they realize that they're behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a lot behind. So ideally, it'd be good if they could have joined, say, by January of the junior year. There's ideal, real, and panic. You can still make good decisions and good results even if you start the college process in August. I think the panic side is after January 1st of the senior year. So ideal, real, and panic. So ideal, really, you can make good decisions. They will affect you. They will help you. But the stress of the trying to do it in the real time is definitely in need of a counselor, because you won't know what to do first or second. So the what to do list that you will see in certain people's websites is the part that I think would help people. A lot of people that may be DIY in it, they need to have at least something to go on, a track to run on. And if they don't, then they need a counselor. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah, I get parents all the time tell me, and look, it's got to be a good fit, right? Like you said, there's people that want to try to do it themselves, but the families that we've helped, I get comments all the time. Boy, you saved me, 50 to 75 hours just in all the research on the deadlines and the grants and scholarships and financial forms. So now that you've identified that challenge that parents face, how do you guys step in? And, if you could give me a 30,000-foot overview of how the College Funding Service Center steps in to help families, what would you say, Al?
Well, the biggest part of it is selecting the right college. That's the right college for the right price for the right reason. Or said differently, as you stated, and I like that terminology as well, the fit for a college of academic fit, a social fit, and a financial fit. The financial and the academic can be done with a lot of information that is available out there. Navion's, College Board, U.S. News, Peterson's. I mean, there's a lot of resources, but all of them do one thing, and that is that they give you the data that you need to make good decisions, one college at a time. So let's say, Anthony, that your child does a college search and finds 90 colleges. So then you have to 90 times go into College Board and pick up that college, and you start to create your own Excel spreadsheet. You talk about 75 hours of time savings. I think there's another 75 hours if you was to try to redevelop the tables that we have in the student positioning program. So the biggest part, student positioning is another term for college selection. So the biggest part is finding the right college. Once you find the right college, if I could use the analogy, you go to the park with one of those really, really, really big slides, and you climb up the ladder to the top. There's 20 steps up the ladder, and you're kind of exhausted by the time you get up there. And you sit down and you hang on, and then you let go. Well, finding the right college is the steps. Letting go, the reactionary part, doing the admissions applications, the financial aid applications. That's just letting go, reactivity. You're just letting go and sliding on the slide. And then at the bottom, your feet hit the ground, and there's one more little thing to take care of, and that's the awards analysis and appeals, and you make your final decision. So there's my analogy to try to put it into something that's visual for you. But the biggest part, the hardest part, is picking the right college. That is not easy. And with the logic that we use, we believe to teach that you should find a college logically first and then emotionally second. So logically would be the academic and the financial fit, and emotional would be the social, the physical social fit, and that's where you visit the campus. That if you do it in that method, logic first, emotion second, you are going to have a good shot at getting a really, really good college that won't break the bank doing it. So,
Yeah, that's a great answer. That's a great answer, and I love the analogy about climbing the steps because I get a lot of families, Al, who say, well, we know what area our child wants to go into. We've got a list of schools already, so they really just use our team for the FAFSA form, the CSS profile, any institutional form filing there are, and the awards analysis, right? The appeals process, the loan counseling, how to fund it, how to lower EFC. So they use us for that. But for those families that I help that start from the beginning, usually sophomores, juniors, freshmen, working with Paula on your team to do that student positioning, career positioning, that is really neat just to see how your team takes someone's interest and kind of aptitude or what they get that comes out of that focus assessment and turns that in to a whole list of schools, right? That might be good for that child and shows you how to research and narrow down this list. That's invaluable to me.
Oh, I tell you, it is a lot more value than you might even realize. Let's just do a little analogy here. You've heard this stat, and if you find it hard to believe, just Google it. It's out there. But it is on average in the United States 6.2 years to get that bachelor's degree. 6.2. Now, you probably did it in 4. I did it in 4. My kiddos, well, 4.5 anyway, but got close. But the point is that those extra 2 years, you're spending money on college. You're not getting any aid from the feds and the states because they're based on a 4-year program of assistance as well. Your lost opportunity cost of not working in that job or career that you should be in.
Sure.
They put all together, there's 150, 180, maybe $200,000. At the private school level, we're talking about $350,000, $400,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of money to find out that all you really had to do in the beginning is focus yourself up on what it is you want to do, which is our first step. Okay, focus up what you want to do with a career assessment tool, and then from that career assessment, you pick a college major. And from the college major, you find the colleges that have what you want, and then you got to find the colleges that want you. Little turn of phrase there. First, you got to do the colleges that you want, and then you do the colleges that want you. The colleges that want you is that student positioning program that you mentioned. That's worth its weight in gold, Anthony. It really is. Kind of sound a little salesy here. I'm not trying to. It's just, it really does work. It helps people make that logical decision on those college selections. And then from there, it's just an issue of arranging some trips. I mean, they're so much fun that there's been movies made on them. Doing the college visits, satires on it is really pretty funny, but it's a lot of fun. And when you go there, you realize, oh my goodness, I really thought I liked this college, but it just doesn't have the right chemistry. And that's that emotional side. You get that figured out and take that one off the list. And then you find another college that we're not even really serious about, and you visit it, and you realize, oh my gosh, I'm in love. Well, that's good. Now let's find at least 5 more and go into the process with 6 to 10 colleges, any one of which you'd be willing to go to. Granted, you're going to have a favorite one. That's normal. But if the favorite one says no, you got to have a backup plan because you just don't pick up yourself and go to college in one day. It takes some time. You got to plan it, proper prior planning. Probably heard that one. That's an old statement. So you have to do the planning, and the planning takes the use of resources. The resources are out there on the internet, but the resources that we put together allow you to see those colleges, 90, 60, 200 colleges in an Excel spreadsheet type format, which allows you to see all the colleges and not one at a time that I mentioned earlier. So it's a faster process, it's a logical process, and it saves time, and therefore it saves money.
Well, who
doesn't?
doesn't?
Get me going here. I could keep on talking here.
No, that's good. I mean, who doesn't want to save time and money? You talked about the college visits. We're already planning our spring break. We're gonna make it a family trip and just enjoy taking my oldest son on some college tours and doing that. So,
Yeah.
last question I have for you, Al. If you could give one piece of advice or encouragement to any junior, senior in high school that's really coming up on the process here, what piece of advice or encouragement would you give them?
Start early and execute early. Start early and execute early. So to me, starting early is January of the junior year at the minimum. Probably September of the junior year would be even more ideal. But January of the junior year at a minimum. Now, I mentioned earlier, you could start later and still get good results. But to keep the stress out and give yourself that time to visit those campuses without trying to do it all in 1 month, you have to start early and execute early. What I mean by execute early is that let's say that you're only going to do a regular admissions. As you go through the colleges, you'll find that their deadline dates change depending on the status of the application. Regular, early action, early read, early priority, early decision. There's all kinds of categories. But on the regular, you would say, well, I don't have to have my application done until 2/1. I would still say that you should get your applications in to the college. Even if you're doing regular, you want to get them in early. There's a lot of colleges that base some of their applications merit money on when first come, first serve. So even if you're going to do regular admission, you still want to submit your admissions application early. This one sneaks up on people because all the deadline dates say, oh, I got till 2/1, I got till 2/1, I'll wait till after the holidays. No, no, no. If you can smell the turkey, you're probably a little late. Okay. You really need to get it going before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So start the process early and then execute the process early.
That's great. Al, I really appreciate this. This was very helpful today to kind of give our listeners an idea on how you guys help our students and families. So, Al, I want to wish you and your family a good next few weeks. Hope you guys enjoy the holidays, Christmas and New Year. And thanks again for taking the time to be with us today.
My pleasure. You bet.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, folks. Join us next week as JB Howard will be back to do a merit moment next Thursday. So thank you for joining us today, and hope everyone has a good rest of the week.